We live in an age of unprecedented information, yet we suffer from a crisis of clarity. Our minds are battlegrounds constantly under siege from distractions, emotional headlines, and the opinions of a billion strangers. We have more access to data than any humans in history, but does it make us any wiser? Or does it just make us more anxious, more reactive, and more confused? The ancient Stoics faced their own version of this chaos, the political intrigue of Rome, the rumors of the marketplace, the anxieties of war, and they developed a powerful response. They understood that the quality of your life depends entirely on the quality of your thoughts. For them, the highest of all virtues, the one that directs all others, was Sophia, or wisdom. But Stoic wisdom is not about being a genius or knowing a lot of facts. It is not about winning debates. It is the practical, life-or-death art of making sound judgments. It is the skill of seeing the world clearly, navigating its complexities with reason, and acting with moral purpose. It is the operating system for a tranquil and effective mind. In this masterclass, we will deconstruct that operating system. We will explore the 4 pillars of Stoic wisdom, providing a framework not just for what to think, pero lo más importante, cómo pensar. Este es el camino para silenciar el ruido y encontrar la claridad en medio del caos. The first pillar of Stoic wisdom is the bedrock upon which everything else is built. The discipline of objective perception. The Stoics understood that we do not react to events themselves, we react to our judgments about those events. And our judgments are often clouded by emotion, prejudice, and inherited narratives. As Epictetus taught, we must learn to separate our initial impressions from our subsequent judgments. An impression is the raw data, my heart is beating fast. He raised his voice, the project is behind schedule. A judgment is the story we add, I'm having a panic attack. He is disrespecting me, we are going to fail. Wisdom begins with the ability to pause and see the raw data for what it is before we contaminate it with a story. Marcus Aurelius was a master of this practice. To fight his own biases, he would perform what is called a Stoic description. He would break down complex things into their component parts. A fine wine was not a divine pleasure, it was fermented grape juice. A beautiful symphony was not magic, it was the scraping of horsehair on sheep's gut. He did this not to be a cynic, but to strip away the subjective emotional layers that cloud our judgment. It was a tool to see the world with the clarity of a physicist. This practice is your first line of defense against anxiety, anger, and fear. When you feel a powerful emotion rising, stop. Ask yourself what actually happened. Describe the event as if you were a camera recording it, with no added drama or interpretation. My boss sent me a one-word email, urgent. That is a fact. My boss is angry at me, and my job is in jeopardy. That is a story. The wise person deals with the fact. The fool is tormented by the story. Polishing this objective lens is the first and most critical task of the philosopher. So we have learned to see external events with an objective lens. The second pillar of Stoic wisdom turns that powerful lens inward. It is the discipline of using your rational mind, your logic engine, to rigorously examine your own beliefs and assumptions. We all walk around with a host of unexamined ideas that we treat as facts. I'm not a creative person. I need a romantic partner to feel complete. More money will solve all my problems. These are not facts, they are hypotheses, and the Stoic philosopher treats them as such, putting them on trial. Epictetus stated it plainly, the first business of a philosopher is to part with self-conceit. This means abandoning the arrogant assumption that you already know the truth. It means having the humility to question everything, especially the stories you tell yourself. This is the Socratic method applied to your own soul. You must become a relentless questioner of your own mind. When you feel a strong belief, challenge it. Ask, is this idea really true? Where did I learn it? From my parents? From society? Is it actually serving me? Or is it holding me back? What evidence do I have for it? What evidence do I have against it? What would my life look like if I believed the exact opposite? This process can be uncomfortable. It often means discovering that some of our most cherished beliefs are built on sand, but it is essential work. This is how you debug your own mental software. Most of our suffering comes not from reality itself, but from our faulty beliefs about reality. By using reason to challenge and update those beliefs, you are not just thinking, you are re-engineering your own mind for tranquility and truth. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, the goal is to wipe out imagination, stop the pulling of the strings. Confine thyself to the present. Questioning your assumptions is how you cut the strings of old programming. Wisdom is not generated in a vacuum. The third pillar is about actively seeking it out from the 2 richest sources available, the distilled experience of others and the reflected upon experience of yourself. This is the discipline of building your library of experience. First, learning from others. The Stoics were voracious readers and students of history. Seneca gave powerful advice to his friend Lucilius. He said that by reading the works of the great philosophers, we can overcome the limitations of our own short lives. He wrote, "We may debate with Socrates, feel doubt with Carneades, find peace with Epicurus, overcome human nature with the Stoics." Reading is not a passive act of consumption. It is an active conversation with the greatest minds who have ever lived. They have already wrestled with the very same problems we face today: anger, grief, anxiety, the search for meaning. To not learn from their struggles and their insights is a form of arrogance. As Seneca said, it allows us to add the years of other people to our own. Second, and just as important, is learning from yourself. Experience alone does not make us wise. If it did, older people would always be wiser, which we know is not always the case. It is reflected upon experience that creates wisdom. This is the purpose of the Stoic practice of evening journaling. This is not a Dear Diary entry of what you did. It is a rigorous performance review of your character. You ask yourself the tough questions we've discussed. What did I do well today, according to my principles? Where did I fall short? Did I give in to anger? Was I lazy? Did I treat others justly? By reviewing your day's actions, you turn every mistake into a lesson. You ensure that your failures are not wasted. You are, in effect, writing your own personal meditations, distilling the raw data of your day into actionable wisdom for tomorrow. Without this practice, you are doomed to repeat the same patterns. With it, every day becomes a stepping stone to a wiser self. We have learned to see clearly, to think rationally, and to learn from experience, but knowledge is useless if it does not translate into action. The fourth and final pillar of Stoic wisdom is its ultimate purpose: to serve as a moral compass that guides our behavior in the world. Wisdom is not something you have, it is something you do. The Stoics believed that wisdom was the chief virtue, the one that directs all the others. Think of it like a skilled charioteer. The other virtues, courage, justice, and temperance or self-control, are like powerful spirited horses. They have immense energy, but without a wise driver, they are useless, even dangerous. Courage without wisdom is just reckless aggression. You might bravely charge into a foolish battle. Justice without wisdom can become harsh and unforgiving, failing to consider context or show mercy. Temperance without wisdom can become pointless self-deprivation, missing the joy of life. It is wisdom, your rational mind, that holds the reins. Wisdom tells courage when to stand firm and when to be flexible. Wisdom tells justice how to balance fairness with compassion. Wisdom tells temperance what is a reasonable and healthy indulgence versus a destructive one. Let's take a practical example. A leader has to lay someone off. An unwise response might be cowardly, delaying the decision, or harsh, a cold, impersonal email. A wise leader uses the virtues together. They act with courage by having the difficult conversation face to face. They act with justice by being honest, fair, and providing as much support as possible. They act with temperance by managing their own emotions. They deliver the news with calm professionalism, and the entire act is guided by wisdom, which understands that while this is painful, it is the necessary and most humane course of action. This is wisdom in action, not as an abstract concept, but as the art of living well. And so, the four pillars of Stoic wisdom come together to form a complete system. 1. The objective lens, to see the world as it is. 2. The logic engine, to challenge our own flawed beliefs. 3. The library of experience, to learn from humanity's past and our own. And 4. The moral compass, to guide our actions with virtue. This is the Stoic path to what they called eudaimonia, a flourishing, well-lived life. But it is crucial to understand that no one ever achieves perfect wisdom. Zeno, Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, they were not perfect sages. They were practitioners. They were craftsmen. The goal is not to one day possess a flawless diamond of a mind. The goal is to engage in the lifelong daily practice of polishing the lens of your perception. Some days the lens will be clearer than others. Some days it will get smudged by emotion or neglect. The practice is to simply pick up the cloth and polish it again. The reward is not in reaching a final destination of enlightenment. The reward is in the process itself, the growing clarity, the increasing tranquility, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing you are engaged in the most important work there is, the crafting of a good and rational soul. That is the art of wisdom, and it is an art that is available to every single one of us, starting now.